Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shear and I am the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to join us for the live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and the password. Today is Sunday, January 30th, 2022. And our annual theme this year is Living Everyday Wonder, which is also the topic for this month of January. And the topic for this week is Prove It. We have a special guest today, and this is my cat, Mojito. So we open each week with a spiritual practice called affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. This is a powerful tool and a practical tool that helps to shift our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept the good that is already present in our life. It aligns our thoughts with all good. So let's move into today's service with intention, as we do each week, with a reading from the Creative Thought magazine. Today, I'll be reading from January 31st, 2014. And spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. So I invite you to close your eyes and take these words as your own, if you so choose. The one power out of which all of life is arising is forever animating that life with its joy and intelligence, its love and peace. There is no other power, no opposition to its constant activity. My life is the animated effect of this one power giving form to itself from the consciousness of who I am. I know myself to be that I am. Ungirding the universal activity of the one power is the immutable law of creation. It is forever bringing out into the seen world the inner directives of universal intelligence. My mind is the individualized outlet for ideas to enter into time-space experience of form. I need not know how it happens, only that it is alive and active in my mind. The law makes so in my personal experience. The law of creation feels like a loving friend, forever present and always responsive to my thoughts. We are co-creators in this synergistic relationship. I am blessed. I am being served every moment by the nature of the law of correspondence. I live in gratitude for the unerring support of this friendly universe. I release this word, and so it is. And that was originally submitted by Reverend Carol Carnes from Oceanside, California. And so now, as we do each week, let's review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. Mojito. Our purpose is to awaken and celebrate diversity, and to love and serve our community. And we do this by means of our vision, which is to educate and support each other so we can create the life we desire that works for us right now. And this is supported by our mission, which is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. So once again, I'd like to welcome everyone. Please know that we are open at the top and accepting and welcoming of all paths, no matter which path you are on, as we honor all faiths and all traditions. Well, I see Mojito is certainly in the mood to be watched today. So as I was mentioning, we teach a philosophy called the science of mind, and it's based on new thought and ancient wisdom. We offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth. And we've already experienced one of these with our opening spiritual mind treatment. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts to create the science of mind, which focuses on the individual use of this powerful thing called the mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the science of mind teaching, he had replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. Each week, we are offering a service in person with an inspirational message. And we are now meeting Sundays at noon at Winston's Bar and Grill, Calle Peru, number 1231, right next door to the Shell gas station. So come and join us and hang out afterwards for some good food and some great conversation with like-minded people. If you have any questions or comments, you can either post them online wherever you are watching this replay, or chat with me in person or send me a direct email, and I'll be sure to respond. So, how does one get to Carnegie Hall? By practicing. And how does one demonstrate a principle? By proving it. And how does one live spiritually? By practicing and proving it. Spiritual living doesn't just happen on a meditation cushion or on Sunday mornings. Spiritual living is a way of life that happens every moment of the day, in all areas of our lives, on a regular and consistent basis, a daily basis. And when we do so, life flows easier, choices are clearer, and seeming miracles are everyday occurrences. There is a wonder in every day just waiting for us to live it. And living requires active participation, application, and practice. Life is an experience that must be experienced. Here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, we practice religious science. Science asks that we prove principles. So let's prove it, shall we? Ernest Holmes said this in the Science of Mind textbook. One of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. And the following is the rest of this quote. One of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. Of course, the theory of any scientific principle goes beyond its application at any given stage of the unfoldment of that principle and the evolution of its accomplishments. If this were not true, there would be no progress in any science. The sciences are objectively real to us only insofar as we demonstrate them, and until demonstrated, They are suppositional, so far as practical results are concerned. If there is any field of research where the practical application is necessary, it is in the metaphysical field. The reason being that the principle of metaphysics seems less tangible to the average person than does the principle of other sciences. Ernest Holmes titled his work The Science of Mind and named the teaching religious science. He didn't call it essays on the mind or religious ruminations. No, he intentionally used the word science. The Oxford Dictionary defines science as the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment, intellectual and practical activity, observation and experiment. If we accept science of mind and religious science as a science, then a mere intellectual knowledge of spiritual principle is insufficient, and simply talking about and announcing spiritual principle with pithy cliches, demonstrations, which demonstrates nothing more than one's spiritual immaturity. It is both spiritual bypass and spiritual malpractice. In The Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes writes that it's easy enough to rush around shouting that there are no sick people, but this will never heal those who appear to be sick. It is easy to proclaim that there are no needy. Anyone can say this, whether they be wise or unwise. But if we are to prove such statements to be facts in our experience, we shall be compelled to do more than announce a principle, no matter how true it may be. To reignite the curiosity we were all born with, we can ask more questions more often. Remember last week when we discussed questioning everything? Well, a great place to start is to begin asking questions of all aspects of your life, of things you're interested in, and of the world around you. Don't passively accept things around you being just as they are. It is what it is. Or rather, don't just imagine it's being. It is what it is. Ask why. Why is it like that? Why is it so? And realize, excuse me, that the limits of what you can be interested in are limitless. Question everything and ask new questions. By asking questions, we can see a bigger picture and challenge our limiting beliefs. By asking questions, we start to see and do things differently. By asking questions, we learn new things. By asking questions, we are more creative and innovative. And remember, there is no silly question. Ernest Holmes, in the Sermon by the Sea, said this: find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is, and I'll myself live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth here. One day, Johnny decided that he wanted to get healthier, so he joined the local gym. Included in his membership were 3 sessions with a personal trainer And at their first meeting, after listening to Johnny's goals, the trainer helped him create a plan that showed him some exercises to get him started. Johnny paid attention to the trainer and what he was showing him, and he even took notes. Then Johnny left the gym feeling excited. Johnny met with the trainer again a few weeks later. The trainer gave him some more exercises and suggested a couple of classes offered at the gym that he might like, and talked about a few possible nutritional changes that he might consider. On their third session, Johnny complained to his trainer that he just wasn't seeing results that he had hoped for. Curious and wanting to better assist Johnny in achieving his goals, the trainer asked him a few questions. Which classes have you taken? I haven't taken any, answered Johnny. What dietary changes have you made? None, Johnny replied. Of the exercises I showed you, which ones do you do most often? Wait, what? You mean I'm supposed to actually do them? Johnny explained in disbelief. Well, we can all laugh at this story because it is so obvious to us. We know that if we go to the gym, and even if we meet with a trainer but don't actually do the exercises or take the aerobics classes or make changes to our diet, we won't see any physical results, especially the ones that we're looking to change. The same is true about our spirituality. Ben Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn." This idea leaves out one half of the learning equation and puts the entire responsibility of learning, change, or transformation solely on the teacher or the trainer in Johnny's story. Johnny's trainer can tell, teach, and involve him, but Johnny's trainer can't transform Johnny's body. Only Johnny can. So how many of you can relate to this story? Well, shifting the perspective of Franklin's quote to the individual's responsibility for the learning and transformation, Johnny might realize, just listening, I forget. Paying attention, I may remember. Apply, and I learn. Practicing faithfully, I embody and understand. I transform. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote this: I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. We must do. So change your thinking, change your life. We've all heard this before. It's an axiom of our philosophy. And it's a basic assumption of our science that informs our concept of the creative process and our methodology. But when was the last time you looked at this axiom with the objective eye and the inquisitive curiosity of the scientific method? Last week, we explored the value of asking questions. And this month, we have been looking at wonder in our daily lives and the power of curiosity. What questions can you think of that would open a greater inquiry into an exploration of this axiom? We've already seen that simply stating spiritual principles doesn't change our experience. So what does change your thinking really mean? Perhaps it means changing not only what we think about, but the way we think. Perhaps In order to really change our lives, more than just our thinking, we must change our beliefs and our behaviors. Perhaps our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors arise from our experiences. And what we think and believe and how we behave also influence our experiences. Dag Hammarskjöld, the United Nations Secretary General from 1953 to 1961, said this: "In our era, the road to holiness necessarily passes through the world of action." So we have formed a question and a hypothesis, and now comes the fun part: experimenting. Even without the petri dishes, test tubes, beakers, and Bunsen burners, this will be a blast. Our life is our laboratory. An area many of us may want to experiment with this idea of changing our thoughts and beliefs and behaviors is in our abundance. In the book of Malachi, God says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." In another translation, it says, "Prove me in this." In her book, Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance, author Edwina Gaines shares her story of her experiment with the practice of tithing and how tithing her last dollar opened the floodgates, changing her life forever. This story is inspirational, but hearing about it or reading it won't change your life. You can never fully understand the power of this or any spiritual practice unless you experiment and try it for yourself and prove the principle to yourself. No one can do it for you. You have to prove it. Paulo Coelho in The Alchemist said this: "There is only one way to learn. It's through action. Everything you need to know, you have learned through your journey." "12-step groups transform lives because people work the steps. They take responsibility for their lives and they practice. The same can be said for Science of Mind. It transforms our lives when we take responsibility for our spiritual growth and we practice. But we have to practice." In See No Stranger, Valerie Kerr writes, "We become what we practice. A demonstration is the result of embodying something so fully and completely that it takes form. And the only way to reach that level of understanding, where we know that we know that we know, is to practice. We become what we practice." Over the course of the next 11 months, we will have many opportunities to practice in different areas of our laboratory of our lives with a variety of practical tools that prove spiritual principles. Life is an experience that must be experienced. Our great experiment this year is to discover how approaching life with awe, wonder, curiosity, and inquisitiveness transforms our experience of it. Oh, the possibilities. Valerie Kerr wrote this: we become what we practice. So yes, practice, practice, practice. I'm sure if any of you have played a musical instrument, you will understand this. So that leads us to our affirmation of the day. I become what I practice. And now is our time for mindful giving, where we are spiritually fed. Donations are gratefully received through PayPal on our website or by mailing a check. When you go to our website, www.cslpv.org, you'll arrive on the landing page, and there you'll see a donate button, not a donut. When you click on it, it will take you to your PayPal account where you can make your donation in whichever way you choose. If you would still like to send a paper check, you can do so by addressing it to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8N1. And so now, if you would like to join me in our offertory affirmations. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So if you would like to have a one-on-one connection for spiritual mind treatment to assist you with change or whatever you are experiencing in life, please connect with me. And if you would like to commit to being a member of CSL Puerto Vallarta for this year, or if you would like to be on our board of trustees, please contact us so that you can be sent the current form. I'd also like to remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. And if you are interested in learning more about the science of mind teaching, we are offering courses and workshops, both online and in person. So please connect with me for further details. And let's continue with practicing peace. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions can create ripples of peace around the world and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. May peace and love be with you. Thank you for coming and sharing this time together. Peace and blessings. Namaste.